Shortly after the launch of Quibi, I made a video on it, kind of giving my first impressions. I'll link that down below, or you can click up here if you want to watch that. But I'm going to quickly give just kind of a summarization of my thoughts on Quibi upon its launch. I thought the name was dumb. I thought the concept and the proprietary features of the app were anywhere between gimmicky and stupid. And I thought the content was boring and unnecessarily cut into those less than 10-minute chunks. But that video was made within 1 week of Quibi launching, and now that my 90-day free trial is about to expire, and yours probably is too if you signed up by the end of April, so be sure to cancel that soon. The question remains now, where is Quibi 3 months later? It still sucks.
We see a day where we will become profitable in the not too distant future.
Let's just start by looking at the numbers. Quibi fell out of the top 50 most downloaded apps basically as quickly as it got on that list. By the end of May, they had approximately 1.5 million active users, almost all of which were using the extended free trial, which again is ending soon, so you're going to want to cancel that if you haven't already. Needless to say, these are much lower numbers than they were hoping would be the case for Quibi, and I can't imagine that even 50% of that 1.5 million would actually turn into paid subscribers, at least intentionally. Whatever number ends up subscribing, I gotta imagine 90% of those people just didn't cancel their subscription in time. But hopefully they'll catch it on their credit card statement sooner or later. I think it's also worth reminding people that Quibi raised somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 billion. So they're gonna need a lot more people to let that free trial lapse if they have any plans to recoup that investment. Especially since all the companies that signed to advertise on the app, yes, the app that you need to pay a monthly subscription for, are now trying to renegotiate their deals because they're advertising to an audience that's a lot smaller than they were told it was going to be.
We knew for our use case that people are on the go, right? We think that our use case is 7 in the morning till 7 at night.
So why has Quibi seemingly failed as a streaming service? Is it because you can only watch the content on their app and there's no option to cast it or watch it on your computer? Is it because the app doesn't allow you to take screenshots so people can make memes or just otherwise share some of the parts of their favorite shows and generate free word of mouth? Is it because the content that they paid billions of dollars to produce isn't good? Is it because the entire premise of bite-sized on-the-go entertainment is stupid? Any combination of those seems possible, but in reality, it's because of coronavirus. At least if you ask Jeffrey Katzenberg. You know, that thing that left nearly the entire planet stuck at home, many who are jobless and just starved for new entertainment just to have anything to pass them through the day, or distract them from the hellscape that is this year? Yes, that's the reason that Quibi is failing. I can't really wrap my head around this conclusion because if I was trying to launch a new streaming service that was supposed to compete with Netflix or Disney Plus or any of the other big names, I would be praying for a global pandemic. Katzenberg's justification seems to be that since the entire world shut down and people weren't commuting to work anymore, that Quibi's target audience just kind of disappeared overnight, and that's why nobody's using the app. I've said it a few times now, but I think the entire premise that Quibi is built off of is flawed, but let's pretend for a minute, just for the sake of argument, that there actually is a demand for on-the-go bite-sized content. Why then do they seem to have such an emphasis on dramatic thrillers? I can't think of a worse genre to consume in small chunks the way that Quibi wants you to watch their videos. Short-form news makes sense to me. Short-form comedy, if executed well, could make sense to me. But who wants to watch a dramatic, suspenseful film, which is what shows like The Most Dangerous Game actually are, in less than 10-minute chunks over the course of 15 days?
You know, it's not user-generated content, which we admire, and it's great, and it's made for pennies or dollars a minute. We're making content for $100,000 a minute, and yes, it's expensive, but that's worth paying for, we think.
Finally, let's look at Quibi's library of content and see if they've added anything in the last 90 days that would justify the $5 to $8 a month price tag. Admittedly, I haven't opened the app since I made my last video, so I haven't really been keeping up with the new shows that they've been adding. But I did find a couple that weren't there at launch, and I watched a few episodes just to see what they're all about. It does seem like they've mostly stuck to their foolproof formula of half-baked idea plus celebrity equals show, because why invest in talent behind the camera when you can just throw Joe Jonas's face on your show instead? So I watched one episode of Fierce Queens, which is a nature docu-series hosted by Reese Witherspoon, and it's fine. It's nothing special really, just a bunch of nature documentary footage that's pretty indistinguishable from any other nature documentary. It might look good on a 4K TV or something, but we'll never know. And they never really let any of the shots linger because they've only got 7 minutes to cover everything they want to talk about, which is also why Reese Witherspoon's narration never seems to end. The angle they're going for is that each episode shows off remarkable females in the animal kingdom. So in the first episode about cheetahs, they construct this narrative about these two cheetah sisters trying to get their first kill. And the entire thing just seems unnecessary and gimmicky, but I guess that's how you know it's a Quibi original. Plus, you gotta get your $6 million worth out of Reese Witherspoon somehow. There was also this really strange line of narration that comes in right after the cheetahs do end up taking out an impala.
Finally, all their hard graft and persistence has come good.
I'm sorry, what? The other show I watched was Dummy. This one stars Anna Kendrick, who apparently made a deal with the devil to star in every new streaming service's original series or movie. So this show starts and you meet Anna's character and her boyfriend, who's played by an actor who's 20 years older than her, but looks 30 years older than her, and whatever, that's a decision someone made. And he has this sex doll, but apparently the sex doll is alive, at least from the neck up, because it can talk. And yeah, it's exactly as bad as you think it is.
I'm having like a nervous breakdown. My boyfriend's sex doll is talking to me.
But I have news for you, babe. We're all sex dolls until we topple the patriarchy.
That's great. You're a feminist sex doll.
It could be because I'm only 2 Quibisodes in, which isn't even the full length of one normal television episode, but nothing about this show makes me want to keep watching it. For a comedy show, there haven't been a lot of jokes, unless you consider the sex doll saying dirty words to be jokes.
That's like really fucking racist. But you can't shower an infection out of a dick hole, dumbass. Like, I hear you, but do you really want him to fuck you with his dick after it's been inside this crusty pussy?
In which case, this show sucks.
We've run businesses, we've been public company CEOs. Day one, this has got a very clear path to profitability reasonably early.
So where does this leave Quibi? I think we'll know soon enough once we learn how many paid subscribers they maintain by the end of July. I personally don't expect that number to be very large, and it's definitely not going to be as big as they were expecting it to be. And honestly, I think if coronavirus just went away and people started commuting to work tomorrow, it still wouldn't be enough to make Quibi a contender in the streaming wars. If Quibi does make it to 2021, I'll be surprised, but at this point it's kind of a coin flip between the company going bankrupt and one of the many possible apocalyptic events that would close out this year. But until then, I'll be posting videos from time to time, maybe even a little more consistently, but no guarantees there. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and go cancel your Quibi subscription.